So good morning everyone, my name is Lalit Soni and you are watching Drishti IAS. In this live session, we will be discussing today's newspaper, that is your Indian Express, and herein some of the important articles are given. If you go through today's newspaper, you will be feeling that there is nothing much which has been discussed in the newspaper today, but we will be going through the important articles which is important for us. Okay. Now since we are moving towards pre, so our focus will be little bit inclined towards pre only. We will be more, we will be talking about more of those articles which will have the relevance with the prelims. Okay, so now let's move further and start our discussion here. First we'll be starting with the fact of the day as usual, and after that we'll be moving to the important articles. Today we'll be discussing the geography through maps as well, because we will be having time. Then important articles, if we talk about thaw in India and China relations. Yesterday we have seen that our foreign secretary has gone to the Beijing, and there are some of the you can say discussions which will be held over there, and we were waiting for the outcome. So we will be talking about that. Then we will be moving to the next one, Lezim dance and Chhawa. Now there is this movie which is depicting the life of Chhatrapati Shambhaji Maharaj. Okay, so with respect to that there was a controversy, because in movie there was a dance scene. Okay, so with respect to that dance there was a controversy. So we will be talking about the dance because this is a folk dance of Maharashtra. So that will be important for our art and cultures point of view, because visual arts are part of our syllabus. So we will be talking about the Lezim dance, which is from Maharashtra. Okay, then we will be moving further to the next one, Jordan, Egypt and Gaza refugee. Recently Mr. Donald Trump has made a statement saying that you can say Egypt and the Jordan should take more Palestinian refugee from the Gaza area. Okay, and to that particular statement, Jordan and Egypt has responded and they are not willing to do so. So we will be talking about this issue as well. Then moving further, for your own read, there will be one article and we will be discussing the editorial, one editorial as well. This editorial is related to one of the topic which we have discussed yesterday. Okay, so we will be taking care of that. Then explanation of the practice question which was given to you in the previous lecture, and today we will be talking about another question for your practice. Okay, now let's start with the first part over here, that is fact of the day. Now herein we are discussing the Bhitarkanika National Park. Okay, Bhitarkanika, you must know that it is famous nesting site which is there, okay, on the mouth of the river, etc. So we have to talk about that. Why we are talking about Bhitarkanika? Because recently there was a, you can say, survey or census, crocodile census, which was held in Bhitarkanika, and because of which it was in news. Okay, now let's see. It is located in Orissa. Bhitarkanika National Park is second largest mangrove after Sundarbans. You know that the largest mangrove ecosystem we see in Sundarbans, and after that Bhitarkanika is the second largest one. So that becomes even more important for you. Okay, after that it is a recognized Ramsar site because it is a second largest mangrove ecosystem. It is a wetland, so obviously it is a important Ramsar site as well. Then coming to the next one, if we talk about the ecosystem of Bhitarkanika National Park, so it comprises of a network of creeks and canals fed by the waters from various river. Okay, so here you can say Brahmani, Baitarini, Dhamra and Patashala. These are some of the rivers which are there, which is basically feeding into the Bhitarkanika. Okay, now if you talk about the, you can say, location of this particular wildlife sanctuary or the national park, here you can say this is Odisha. Okay, and here this is Gahir Matha Wildlife Sanctuary, and little bit north of that we have Bhitarkanika Wildlife Sanctuary and National Park, which is also located over here. Now this area Bhitarkanika and you can say Gahir Matha, this is the area which is famous for, you can say, the olive ridley turtles. Okay, now I have told you that on the mouth of Daya river we have the Chilika Lake. This is your Chilika Lake which is over there, and this is on the mouth of the, you can say, Daya river. Okay, now right now when we are talking about the Bhitarkanika, it is a, you can say, sequence of various creeks which are there, and these creeks are basically formed by, or you can say there are some of the creeks and canals which are there, which are fed by the waters of various rivers. That rivers are Brahmani, Baitarini, the Dhamra and the Patashala. These are some of the rivers which you have to remember. Okay, moving to the next one, proximity to the Bay of Bengal enriches the soil with the salt, supporting the tropical and the subtropical intertidal vegetation. Okay, anyways these are mangroves. You know that these are kind of forming an ecotone. If it is a ecotone, that means that diversity will be high. If it is a ecotone, or you can say estuary kind of situation, will be there, so brackish water will be there. Okay, so salt content will be, you can say, higher over here. So this is about Bhitarkanika. We have talked about the location as well. Now some of the other facts are there. Fauna, if we talk about, so this is the largest congregation of salt water crocodiles in India. So recently, as I told you, there was this survey which has happened, and because of which it was in news. Other notable species are water monitor lizard, then pythons and hyenas. Okay, so these are some of the things which you can remember. Coming to the next one, Gahir Mata Beach. I have already told you Gahir Mata Wildlife Sanctuary and the Gahir Mata Beach. These are located in the vicinity of Bhitarkanika, and they are largest nesting sites for the olive ridley turtle. Okay, so this is something which you should remember. Okay, a question related to the olive ridley turtle has been asked in the UPSC, so please remember this particular point as well. Okay, now let's move further to the next one, that is your geography through maps. Herein we will be discussing about the Ganga and Brahmaputra river system. We will be restricting ourselves to Ganga today, and then in the next session we will be talking about Brahmaputra. Okay, now why is that we are saying that these two rivers, we are talking about them at the same point? Because both of these rivers are having the Himalayan origin. Okay, so when we are talking about the Ganga, here you can say this is the area of Ganga river system, and then this is the, you can say, Yarlung Sangpo, which becomes Siang, and then Brahmaputra and comes to Bangladesh area, and after that Bay of Bengal. Both of river having the same origin, that is the Himalaya, and they are forming the mouth in the Bay of Bengal. Okay, so that is why it is generally called as the Ganga Brahmaputra river system. But right now we will be focusing on Ganga. Okay, Ganga is one of the largest river when we are talking about the northern India. Here you can see, so there are various, you can say, tributaries which are there. They form, there are various streams, they form and they come together and form this Ganga river. Okay, so first we will be having some of the important facts over here, and after that we will be coming to the map. Okay, here you can say Ganga originates as Bhagirathi from the Gangotri glacier in Uttarkashi district of the Uttarakhand at an elevation of somewhere around 7,000 meters. Okay, so Bhagirathi is the stream which you can say that basically we are saying that this is the origin from the Gangotri in Uttarakhand. Okay, so that is there, and after Bhagirathi is there, then rivers like Alaknanda, etc., they come together and form Ganga in the end. Okay, Alaknanda river joins Bhagirathi at Devprayag, and then from Devprayag the river is called as Ganga. Okay, so here you can see there are various streams which are there. Okay, so this is Ram Ganga. Okay, these are some of the streams which are also there. This is the Gagra river which is forming, you can say, tributary of Ganga. This is Gandak river which is forming the tributary of Ganga. Kosi is there. Okay, and here you can see Yamuna. Okay, Yamuna is the river which is meeting with Ganga at Allahabad. You know that Allahabad is the Allahabad or Prayagraj basically. So Prayagraj is the place which is called as a Sangam. Okay, why? Because the Ganga and Yamuna and the mythical Saraswati is being actually forming a Sangam over there. Okay, other than that you will be seeing that these rivers like Chambal and Betwa, these are the largest tributaries of Yamuna river, which is in turn a tributary of Ganga river. Okay, so here this is when we are talking about the Ganga, the origin or the stream, initially it is known as Bhagirathi, and then with Alaknanda it will join, and then after that we will be calling it as Ganga. Okay, so that is about Ganga river system. Mostly if you see, there are various states like Uttarakhand, then Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, and these are some of the West Bengal. These are the states in which we can say Ganga is having its you can say basin. Okay, so that is there. So this is about Ganga river. In the next one we will be talking about the Brahmaputra river. This is a revision, we are talking about the revision aspect over here. We will not go into much details. Now that I have given you framework or the outline, you can go and revise your notes with respect to the Ganga river. Okay, so that is about Ganga. Now, if we are talking about various streams over here, here you can see there are some of the streams which are given and their origin has been given, okay, because these are part of the Ganga river system. So, Bhagirathi, so here it is from the Gangotri glacier, we have already seen in the Uttarkashi in Uttarakhand, then Yamunotri glacier in Bandar Pooch peak, then Chambal, then Janapao hills in Vindhya range, and then Banas river, that is there basically in Rajasthan, that is from the Aravalli range, Betwa in Bhopal district, Kain, Barner range, and then Son, Amarkantak plateau. So these are some of the important rivers which are there, or you can say these are southern tributaries of, you can say, Yamuna and Ganga. Okay, now coming to the first article of our day, that is your after Misri Wang meeting in Beijing, thaw in India China chills, direct flights, Mansarovar Yatra, and easy on the visa. Okay, so in this particular article they have talked about the outcome of the meeting over here. There is nothing much which you don't know, because these are the things which we have already discussed various times. Okay, but again let's see. Marking a major diplomatic breakthrough after the disengagement process which started way back between China and India in November last year. Okay, Improved bilateral exchanges, resuming the Kailash Mansarovar Yatra, working to restore direct flights between the two capitals, issuing visas for the journalist and the think tank, sharing trans-border river data, etc., etc. Okay, Foreign Secretary Vikram Misri actually visited Beijing over here, and they have talked about these some of the things over here. Here you can see India and China agreed to resume the key bilateral exchanges post November 2024 disengagement. In November 2024, what has happened is that they have actually restored patrolling in the, you can say, legacy issue areas. Okay, so in the areas like the Depsang plains, etc., they have started to go for the patrolling again. Okay, focus includes the Kailash Mansarovar Yatra, direct flights, visa facilitation, and the data sharing on the trans-border rivers. Recently, you know that there was this issue with respect to the Yarlung Sangpo and Siang river, and China is building a dam over there. Okay, so considering that, the data sharing becomes important for us. So herein they have talked about the data sharing as well. Okay, coming to the next one, restoration of the exchanges. Okay, now herein they are talking about the various things like people to people connect as well. When we talk about the Mansarovar Yatra, that is one of the religious aspect which is attached with this yatra. Now this yatra is being resumed again. Mansarovar Yatra to resume in the summer of 2025, mechanism to discuss pilgrimage modalities and enhance people to people interaction through the media and the think tank exchange. So here Mansarovar Yatra becomes important, and whenever we are talking about the Mansarovar Yatra, you should remember one pass, that is your Lipu Lake. Okay, so that you should remember, because this is the place through which Mansarovar Yatra is going into the Tibet area. Then bilateral cooperation, if we talk about, so hydrological data sharing and the river management collaboration reaffirmed. Step to address the long-term issues in the trade and economic relations. After the Galwan issue, we have said that the trade and the aggression cannot go hand in hand, but again we are, you know, kind of dependent on China for various raw materials, etc. So yes, that was still there. We were still in the trade with China, but the problem is that there was the significant restrictions which has been imposed, and that is why they have actually, you know, you can say they have taken the step to address the long-term issues in the trade and economic relations. Mutual principle, if we are talking about, so there was three mutuals which has been talked about by the Jaishankar, that is basically mutual respect, sensitivity, and the interest. Okay, so that is being written over here: mutual respect, mutual sensitivity, and the mutual interest. Now that is been talked by the Jaishankar. Okay, then to answer that, there was another, you can say, three mutuals which has been flagged by Wang Yi. He said that we have to avoid some things. Okay, that is suspicion, estrangement, and the exhaustion. These are some of the things which you should avoid, and these are some of the things which Jaishankar said we should have in our relations, that is mutual respect, mutual sensitivity, and the mutual interest. Okay, so here you can say emphasis on the three mutuals: mutual respect, sensitivity, and the interest. Goal to rebuild the trust and confidence between the two nations, that has been discussed over here. Now if we talk about the strategic context, here you can see effort aligned with the 75th anniversary of the bilateral relations with China in 2025. So in 2025 we are completing 75 years of our bilateral relations. So that is you can say one occasion right in 2025, and focus on the promoting peace, stability, and the prosperity in the Asia globally. This is one aspect. Other than that, also if we are talking about the presidency of Mr. Donald Trump, so you know that he is bit you can say uncertain person. Okay, the policy making in the time of Mr. Trump is uncertain, and he is against China. He sees China as a rival, so there are high chances that there will be a trade war. So if there is a trade war, so there will be a, you can say, restriction on the markets which are available to China, and China would need another markets, and that is why India becomes important for China as well, because India is a big market. Okay, China does not want to upset India at that point of time when there is already a president which is there, which is kind of uncertain. And so considering that, also you will be seeing that there will be a pressure on China to make sure that India is on board with China over here. Okay, so that is something about the India-China relations. Okay, now we can move further. Before that, I would like to tell you about all these things over here. As I told you, when we are talking about the Mansarovar Yatra, hold on a second. Okay, as I told you, when we are talking about the Mansarovar Yatra, there is one or two things which you should remember, that Mansarovar Yatra is starting from India, or sometimes it is starting from Nepal as well, but it will be going to the Tibetan area. There is this Rakesh Tal, you know that. Okay, this is the Rakesh Tal, and then here this is the Mansarovar Lake. Okay, now here there is this Lipu Lake pass. Okay. Now you will be seeing that India and Tibet or India-China border is there, that is the Lipu Lake Pass. Lipu Lake Pass is important from one more aspect, that there is this controversy with Nepal as well. Okay. Now here you will be seeing that Lipu Lake is in the Indian territory. Okay. So here this is somewhere over here, but because of the change in the course of Kali river, Nepal is claiming some of the territories. Okay. So Nepal is saying that this particular portion is part of Nepal. Okay. Because earlier this river, that is Kali river, that is used to form the boundary between India and Nepal. So considering that Lipu Lake was part of India, okay, then there was this shift in the, you can say, river course of Kali. Okay. And after that Nepal started to assert that Lipu Lake is their part, but that is not true. Obviously if that was our part initially, so it is now also our part. So Lipu Lake, Limpiadhura, Kalapani, these are some of the territories which are contested by Nepal, but we are very affirmative about this particular thing, that these are Indian territories. Okay. And Nepal is mistaken while they are saying that this Limpiadhura, Lipu Lake and the Kalapani as their own territories. Okay. And this is all because of shift in the river course of Kali. Okay. So that is there. And Lipu Lake we have already talked about, Mansarovar Lake we have talked about. Okay. And then this is Mount Kailash, which you should know. So this is about this particular map over here, which you should remember. Okay. Now let's move further to the next article. Lezim. There is this dance. Here you can see in this particular picture, there are few women holding some instrument over here. That instrument is called as Lezim. There are wooden handles which will be there, and then there will be these piece of jhanjar, you can say, these are there, and then ultimately when there is a movement, there will be a specific sound which will be created, and while dancing they will be using these instruments in a very particular way. Okay. So that is the Lezim dance. That is generally you will be seeing that in the Ganesh Chaturthi etc. You will be seeing such instrument being played by various performer over there. Okay. Sorry. Along with that, in Maharashtra, this is a folk dance, you can say. Okay. Every person in the marriages etc., in the processions etc., you will be seeing this dance over there. Okay. Now in a movie which is to be released in next 7 to 10 days, that is movie's name is Chhawa, and this is depicting the biography of Chhatrapati Sambhaji Maharaj. He is son of Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj. So basically in that movie he has performed a dance on this particular you can say Lezim dance. Okay. And herein some controversy has arisen, but we will not go into that. What we are you can say what is important for us is to know about this particular folk dance. Okay. So here let's see a scene from a trailer upcoming movie, that is Chhawa, that is based on the life of Maratha ruler Chhatrapati Sambhaji Maharaj. There was this controversy which has erupted. He has been seen performing a Lezim dance. This actor Vicky Kaushal is playing as the role of Chhatrapati Sambhaji Maharaj. Okay. So that is there. So he and his wife over there, that is basically Maharani Yeshubai. Okay. So these two names you can remember. One is Chhatrapati Sambhaji Maharaj, he is the son of Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj, and then Maharani Yeshubai. Okay. Now locals have said that it is not very good to be seen Chhatrapati dancing like that, but the thing is the director had some other intent in mind. He said that we are depicting him as a 20-year young boy, but if there are some sentiments which are being hurt, we will be removing that particular scene. So that was there. Now what is important for us, not the controversy which you can actually read over here, which is given over here. Okay. What is important is that who was the Sambhaji Maharaj. Okay. And when we are talking about the who was Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj, and who was the contemporary in the northern India at that point of time. Okay. So these are some of the things which we will be seeing. Okay. Chhatrapati Sambhaji Maharaj, he had the tenure from 1657 to 1689. Okay. And Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj was there from 1630 to 1680. Okay. Now after the death of Shivaji Maharaj, he became the Chhatrapati over there, and he has also fought well, and he has secured various forts. He has made sure that these forts are safe, but ultimately in the later part of the life here, he was captivated by Aurangzeb, and then he was put to death. But the thing is, he was a great warrior, okay, and there are not many mentions which we have seen in the history over here, but the thing is there is a long history from the Maratha Empire as well. Maratha Empire was at one point of time was having influence from Deccan till the northern India, okay. When we talking about the Peshwa's time, you will be seeing that Maratha Empire has expanded tremendously, okay. So that is there. Now coming to the what is Lezim. Lezim is a dance performance using the wooden instruments which has small symbols attached to it, okay. So these are the symbols which are attached to it, okay. So this is there, and this is a wooden instrument, wooden handles are there over here. So that is there. And during the time of the Ganesh Chaturthi, or you can say in the marriage procession sector, they will be using or performing this particular dance. There are professional performers are also there, okay. Generally it is accompanied by an akhada as well, a party of persons skilled in performing many feats of physical skills, okay. Lezim has become part of and parcel of the physical education and the drills in the school and colleges as well, okay. So that is there. Lezim, a small mallet, is made of thin wood with pieces of metal strung together which clash and produces a sonorous sound when swinging, okay. So basically they will be holding it like that, and then it will be moving, and then these cymbals will be having collision with each other, and they will be producing sound, okay. So that is there. Lezim is as much rigorous physical exercise, a drill, as dance. The formations are in tours, fours, and sometimes in circle, okay. So there are two people who can also perform, there are four people who can perform, and then there can be a circle as well, okay. So that is there. They are saying that it is as much as a physical activity as a dance, because obviously it takes a lot of energy. It will be accompanied with the instruments like dhol, okay. So dhol or dhalgi, okay. Dhalgi is basically small dhol, okay. So that will be starting with slow movement and the slow sound, and then it will be very energetic, okay. So that is about the Lezim dance over here. There are steps like there will be stepping, squatting, jumping, all these things will be there. So this is about the Lezim dance which can be asked in UPSC. So you have to, you can say, know about all these things, okay. Talking about the other instruments, there is no instrument which is you can say, when we are talking about the air related instruments like flute, etc., that are not there. Any other instrument is not used. When we talk about the, you can say, music played along with it, so earlier there was no music as well, but recently it has been seen that music is also been performed over there. So that is the different story, but the thing is, this is about Lezim. This is the instrument which we have seen. Now who was Chhatrapati Sambhaji Maharaj, okay. So Chhatrapati Sambhaji Maharaj was the eldest son of Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj. He came to power in 1681 after the death of Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj. At that point of time, the contemporary in northern India was Aurangzeb, okay. His you can say timeline was 1618 to 1707, okay. So that is there, and he had the plan to expand the empire towards the Deccan part, okay. And there was a big empire that was basically Marathas, and Marathas were giving a kind of resistance to Aurangzeb, and he would not be able to manage in the Deccan over here, okay. So that is there. And after the death of Aurangzeb, you will be seeing that Maratha empire declined and Marathas started to rise, okay. So that was also one of the important factor. Now Sambhaji was able to defend many forts against the Mughal forces for some years, and then he was captured by them in 1689 and eventually put to death, okay. So this is about the story of Lezim, Sambhaji Maharaj, and the controversy which is recently been repeated in the Bollywood, okay. So that is about it. Now let's move further to the next one, that is talking about why Jordan, Egypt don't want Gaza refugees, okay. So this is something which we have discussed various times. Now when we are talking about the issue, this issue goes back in 1948, okay. At the point of time there was this partition, all these things has happened, okay. And then there was this country which has been, or the territory has been given to Israel, and it was divided between Israel and Palestine, and after that there was some wars. Palestinian has been displaced from this particular area. There are various wars which has been fought. One was during the time of 1948, and after that in 1967 also there was a war. All these things has happened, and because of which we have seen that there is a progressive displacement of the Palestinian people from this particular territory, okay. Now it is generally said that it is also a legacy of the, you can say, colonialism, okay, which was there. So that is there. Let's see. US president recently make a remark that Egypt and Jordan to take a Palestinian refugee just to clean out the Gaza, okay. So that is there. Both Egypt and the Jordan immediately and firmly opposes the idea, because there are various you can say Palestinians which are already living in the part of Egypt and the Jordan, and they are, you can say, some kind of skeptical. Why? Because when there was this Palestinian settlement which was there in Lebanon, that has led to southern Lebanon as a base for the Palestinian you can say militants over there, and they have launched attack on Israel, and ultimately Lebanon and Israel has to actually go on a war. Okay, but then there was this arrangement which was made, so that was there, but ultimately the Egypt and the Jordan, they are skeptical about this because they are of this there is this worry that ultimately these locations where these you can say refugees are being put, that might be used against Israel, and Israel ultimately will go for a war with these countries like Egypt and Jordan. Okay, so what is the background over here? So in, you know, that recently after October 2023, there are various events which has happened, and because of which there was this refugees which are migrating towards different countries over there. And before that, from the 1948, it is being going on progressively. That is there around 90% of the Gaza's 2.3 million residents have been displaced since October 2023. Millions of Palestinians displaced from Palestine since creation of the Israel in 1948. Article 11 of the UN Resolution 194 from 1948, all Palestinian refugees has the right to return home if they are willing to live peacefully with the neighbors. Okay, so basically it was said in that particular resolution that if they are willing to live with Israel or in the neighborhood, Israel is there and you are fine with that, so you can live in that particular area. But however, that has not prevented Israel from long advocating the resettlement of the Palestinian outside the Palestine. Okay, so that is why they are saying that we need to move Palestinians outside the Gaza strips as well. Okay, so that is there. And they have actually encroached in the areas of Palestinians. When we talk about the areas of Gaza, when we talk about the areas of West Bank also, they have actually you can say encroached in that particular area as well. Okay, now because of which there was the further displacement which we have seen, allowing Palestinians to return to their native land. Now what is the problem is that Israel thinks that if we allow Palestinians to return back to their native land, that what happens is that there will be a clashes between the Israelis and the Palestinians. Okay, so that will undermine Israel's claim to the statehood. Okay, so they are saying that if we let them enter over here, that means that we are undermining our claim to the territory. Okay, now what happens with the Palestinians is that Palestine says that if we you can say coexist with the Israel, then we are giving this impression that this land belongs to Israel only. We have accepted this thing. Okay, so that is the issue, that is the mistrust which is there, and because of which this area is facing this kind of issues. Many Israelis were drawing up plans to infiltrate Gaza, hoping to build unauthorized village over here, which ultimately will be recognized by the Israeli government. So that is also one of the things which has been discussed over here. Now behind Egypt and Jordan's refusal, okay, there are already few people which are living over here. And why is that? When we talk about countries first look at their own interest. Okay, so that is also one of the point. Both Jordan and the Egypt have diplomatic relations with Israel. Now since they are having diplomatic relations with Israel, and if they let Palestine enter into their you can say area, and if there are some of the militants which are also entering into their country or their territory, and they are operating through that particular soil, so that will give an impression that Egypt is supporting the Palestinian militants. Okay, so ultimately there are chances that the diplomatic relation between Egypt, Jordan and Israel, that will get hindered. Okay, so that is why they are skeptical about it. They support the so-called two-state solution. Two-state solution says that the Israel and Palestine exist side by side as a sovereign nation. So these two countries, Jordan and Egypt, they support the two-state solution. Okay, that is there. Egyptian president in 2023 says that the facilitating a migration of refugees from Gaza would help eliminate the Palestinian cause. Okay, that is there, because they are saying that if we let them enter over here, that means that the Gaza area is being, you can say, scrapped off from the Palestinian authorities or the Palestinian people. So ultimately that will be, you can say, or you can say the encroachment of Israelis will be there on the Gaza, and they will not let them enter back. Okay, so ultimately that will weaken the Palestinian cause. So that is there, pose a security challenge for the Egypt and as well as Israel, because if they are using the soil for any kind of anti-Semitic you can say activities over there, then Egypt's Sinai Peninsula, which lies to the south of Gaza, will be seeing that would become a base for the attack on the Israel, and Israel would have right to defend itself and would strike Egyptian territory. So that is what they are saying, that if we let them enter into Sinai Peninsula and then they will be launching attacks on the Israel, Israel will have right to defend itself. So ultimately it will harm Egypt's interest. Okay, so that is there. This is exactly what happened in the Lebanon. So in 1970s, what Lebanon did was they have allowed some of the Palestinian refugees in the their southern territory, and from that southern territory they started to, you can say, operate against Israel. Okay, ultimately Lebanon and Israel has gone to the war. Okay, and this is what has happened right now. Also, when we are seeing that recently we have seen that there was this issue between Israel and Lebanon. Okay, and that was also because of the you can say Hezbollah, which is basically there in the southern Lebanon. Okay, so that is there. Millions of the registered Palestinian refugees already live in 58 UN recognized camps in the countries such as Jordan, Lebanon and Syria. Jordan alone hosts nearly 2 million refugees, the majority of whom have been granted citizenship. So that is the kind of pressure these countries are facing. They do not want it more. Okay, so that is about the refugee issue between the Jordan, Egypt and Israel. Okay, I hope that is clear. Now let's see some of the maps over here. You will be seeing that initially this is the Palestinian area. Okay, this is Jerusalem, and after that because of the, you can say, imperialistic policies, etc., in 1948 there was this Palestine which was actually this Israel and Palestine which was formed. So this is the white part is Israel and the green part over here is basically a Palestine. Okay, so Jerusalem was all together in, you can say, Palestine at that point of time. After that in 1948 there was this war, and there are various areas which has been occupied, and there was progressive displacement which has happened. So 1949 to 1967, even in 1967 there was a war. Okay, so that is there, and they have occupied this much area. You will be seeing that the greener part is getting you can say shrunken over here. So this is basically Israel, and this is West Bank, this is your Gaza. Okay, now these are the area where Palestinian population was restricted to. After that, when we are talking about the present situation, you will be seeing that this is the position of Palestinian population, and this is Gaza, because Hamas are very active over here. Okay, and here you will be seeing that they have dispersed to this particular extent. Okay, now there was this another story when we are talking about the war which has happened in 1967. There was this area of Golan Heights which has been taken from Syria, and that is now under the you can say sovereignty, or you can say under the control of Israel right now. Now when we talk about the Sinai Peninsula, that was also been taken in 1967 from Egypt. Okay, but then in 1973 it was returned back, but the Syrian territory, that is Golan Heights, has not been returned. That is under the control of Israel as of now. Okay, so that is about the map over here. Here in this map you will be seeing that this is the Israel, this is Gaza area, this is your West Bank area, and here you can see this particular territory, that is basically your Golan Heights, which is under you can say Israel's control. When we talk about the various countries which are having borders with Israel, here you can say Lebanon is one, then you have Syria. Okay, then you have Jordan over here, and then we have Egypt. Okay, so that is there. Rafah crossing, and you can say there are 3 crossings which were there. So one of them is Rafah, which is having opening with the Egypt. So that is about these maps which you should remember. Now coming to the next one, passing reference to this particular article, that microplastics can block blood flow in the brain in mice. Okay, now there was this study wherein the few mice has been made to eat fluorescent polystyrene. Okay, polystyrene. Now why it is fluorescent? Because when they will go for the, you can say you know, microscopic views, if this is fluorescent, that will be easy to detect. Okay, so that is why polystyrene has been fed to the mice, and it was seen that this polystyrene is being accumulated in the immunity cells. Okay, and ultimately that is, you know, being into the blood vessels, they are forming clot kind of situation or blocking the flow of the blood, and that will lead to various diseases over here. So let's see. A new study has revealed that the microplastics, tiny particles that measures less than 5 mm in diameter, can block the flow of blood in the brain of mice, although it is still unclear that what kind of impact it will have on the human body. Okay, so that is there. Research has found that the microplastics in nearly every part of the body, including lungs, testicles and bone marrow. Microplastics in the bloodstream can induce cerebral thrombosis. Cerebral thrombosis is basically a condition where there will be a clot formation in the brain, okay, or the blood vessels. Okay, so that is there, and led to the neurobehavioral abnormalities which is there. here you can see further investigation suggested that the immune cell known as the neutrophils and the phagocytes had ingested the bright plastic specks. Okay, these bright plastic specks in the mice, which has been entered into the body through the through them making to eat polystyrene. So basically they have find their way into the immune cells, okay, known as the neutrophils and the phagocytes. That is, their cell probably got trapped in the tight curves of the tiny blood vessels in an area of the blood called the cortex. Okay, so in the area of brain, that is your cortex, so that was stuck over there, and because of which there are chances that there will be a clotting, okay, or there will be, you can say, some kind of flow of blood will be restricted over here or hindered over there, and because of which there can be problems. Okay, here you can see as these immune cells got stuck in the blood vessels, the flow of blood was blocked like it does in the case of the clot. Some blockage eventually cleared, but other remains for days. This resulted in the decreased mobility of the mice. Okay, now when we are talking about the decreased mobility, because obviously when there are less flows to the brain, so neuron network will be affected, so that will lead to you can say your mobility will be decreased by that. Okay, so that is the article which was there in the explain section. So that is there. Now coming to the editorial discussion, we have talked about the Teesta river dam yesterday. Okay, so based on that there was this editorial which can be important for you. Okay, so here some of the things which has been given over here, that there was some kind of approval gaps. So basically what happens in there was this glacial lake outburst flood, and because of which one dam was damaged, and now at that particular place they are building a new one. Okay, the problem is that they did not go for new surveys over here. Okay, they are increasing the capacity of the dam, they are increasing the height of the dam, but the flood related data and the other data has not been reassessed. Okay, so that was the issue which is there. So there are some of the concerns, that is approval gaps are there. No public hearing has been held. Last time it was held in 2006 when this earlier project was there. So at that point of time they have gone for the public hearing, and right now they are saying that we already had the public hearing, this is the same project, we are going for you can say revival of the project as a new one, because already the earlier one has been damaged. Okay, so that is there. Safety neglects, because EAC bypassed the assessment of the flood and the glacial lake outflow risk, because as I told you there are no flood data which has been reassessed. So that is one of the concern which is being put forward. High vulnerability to the earthquakes, landslide and the ecological damages, because this is part of your Himalayas. Himalayas are still rising and they are not stable ecosystem, and that is why there can be you can say some problem with respect to the earthquake and the landslide which will be there. If we talk about the past failure, so Teesta river has had the history of such things. Okay, in 2014 authorities dismissed the glacial flood risk for Teesta 3 dam. In 2023 the flood disproved the earlier assessment, and 2024 landslides caused 300 crore damages rupees damage to another Teesta project. Okay, so in the Teesta river area, obviously because it is an unstable region and there are, you are going for a project which is not rightly assessed, so there can be situations like that. What is the call for action? So mountain projects near the rivers must prioritize safety and the climate risk, must ensure rigorous due process. Okay, while you are going for such projects, you have to follow the due process. You have to go for the environment impact assessment, you have to go for various surveys, you have to go for the public hearings, all these things should be done. Okay, so that is about this article, you can read it. Okay, now coming to the last part, there is this, for your own read, there is this article, India's ties with Indonesia. We have already discussed that, and I have also covered this in yesterday's in news program, so you can go and watch this particular video. In our discussion we have discussed about the India and Indonesia ties. In this particular video I have discussed that in the past what kind of ties it had and what is the future outlook. Okay, so that is there. Now there was this question, what river is associated with the Teesta 3 hydropower project? Option B would be a right answer, that is Teesta. And today's question is that Lezim is a traditional folk dance form associated with which Indian state? Punjab, Maharashtra, Gujarat or Kerala? Now you can attempt this question and answer to me in the comment box. With that I would like to take your leave. I'll see you in the next session. Till then, have a nice day. Thank you.